So you're handling grass cloth, but not only grass cloth, 54-inch grass cloth, which is extremely rare. Now you can show them the machine. We have the machine to glue it, but it's not always practical to keep the glue off of the grass cloth. So I prefer, in this case, to use a roller, a paint roller, to apply the glue. I want to show you the way to book your wall covering, to double it over without getting glue all over your table. Can you bring the camera here? You're going to pay attention only to one edge. In this case, I'm going to do the edge that's closest to the camera. And all you're going to do to make your wall covering book, just like the pages in a book, to bring the edges exactly on top of the other, this is how you do it. Very hard to do with 54-inch goods. But I'm simply going to let the edge fall onto the edge and just follow it through. If this one is straight, this one will be straight as well. You can see how I'm making sure that the edges meet up. Once this gets down and connected to the wall covering, it's very hard to move. So you have to do it while you have it in the air. You see, this side falls into place, but it's this side that you got to be careful about. Okay, I'm 90% done. All you have to do now is take a dry hand and move it over. Can you come over here? I want them to see this. All we're going to do is simply slide it over. And there you have it. This wall covering is ready to book. In fact, it's already booking. But there's one more little trick of the trade that I want you to do. With dry hands, you're going to mash the material together. There's only one place on the whole material where the wall covering really doesn't get a chance to book, and that's right here. You don't want to put a crease in this. You want to get as close as you can and leave the corner or this loop rounded. You don't want it fully pressed together. And there you have it. I'm going to do the opposite side in the same way. Let me just show you how I'm applying the glue. If there's any time I would tell you to slow down in wallpaper, it would be with grass cloth. Take your time. I want to show you. See if the viewers can pick up on what I'm doing regarding the edges. First of all, I started in the middle, didn't I? When you bring a loaded paint roller to a wall with paint on it, do you start right on the edge? The same idea applies here. You don't want to start over here and then have to move all that glue over here. It doesn't make sense. You start in the middle because the middle is the point at which you can move in equidistant strokes to the left and to the right. How thick you make your glue varies. And one of the factors it depends on is the speed with which you hang your wall cover. If you're slow, make it wetter, add some water to your glue. If you're fast, add less water. Am I in the way?
No, you're fine.
Oh yeah, right straight back. That's no problem. You'll notice that I'm not going near the edges. Take a look at my edge. Tell me, why am I leaving the edges dry? If you haven't guessed why, I'll share you a secret or a trick of the trade. And it's because I would be a fool to make my edges wet when they're going to be double cut anyway. What do I mean by that? Those edges are not going to be there during the final installation. And so if I risk going near the edge too close, I wind up risking getting glue on this side unnecessarily. If I have to do it, fine. But I'm not going to do it unnecessarily. You know what I'm saying? When I put this against the next piece, I'm going to cut this edge off, at least an inch. And so why risk putting glue there when it's going to be thrown out? Take your time with grass cloth. Same thing with the top edge and the bottom edge. You don't have to go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. I would leave 2 inches. Take your time. It's very important that grass cloth, the backing of this, gets soaked so that there are no bubbles after the installation. A word on bubbles. What are bubbles? They're from air. This has liquid in it, right? And so the liquid is releasing H2O, hydrogen, oxygen. People say, there's bubbles, there's bubbles. Yeah. That's because it's evaporating. So let me just compare it to another situation. If you ever put a tea bag in a cup of hot tea, the air from the tea bag will cause a bunch of bubbles to come up. You'll see them. Think of this like a tea bag. This backing, like a tea bag. Now you just mix it with water. In order to get the air that exists in that backing out of it, it needs to become one with the glue, and then the oxygen is released through the evaporation of the glue. What happens when you book is that the glue penetrates the fabric of the backing and displaces the oxygen and the hydrogen. Where does it go? It's leaving right now, although you can't see it. And that's what booking is all about, because you're mashing the sides together and that oxygen is escaping. If we put this on the wall right now, you would have hand-sized pockets of air, because the release is extreme right now. It's releasing at a very high rate. Of course you can't see it. But if you take that tea bag and you put it in, you can't even get it down, right? You can't even put the tea bag into the tea. You have to push it. The same idea is that this backing and this glue mixing together, as the glue enters into the fabric, the air is escaping. Did any of you ever take a brand new mop, right? You mop the floor. You take the brand new mop and you put it in the water. The mop comes out of the water. Why is that? Because there's a wax coating on those mops or something. It's not just cotton. There's something on them. But when you introduce a mop to a bucket of water, you have to hold it down because the fibers are resisting, the oxygen in the fibers are resisting having to be displaced by the water. And so it pushes out. But if you hold it down there, the fabric becomes one, and you see all of this air escaping in your bucket of water. The same idea is going on here. Again, you can't see it, and that's why you don't think of it. My air is escaping. It's escaping from the backing. And when it's sufficiently escaped, when you put it on the wall, now you have a layer of paint that's absorbing the glue. Now we have the same process. You know when you wet a wall, it's dark. Why is that? Because the paint absorbed the water in your rag. So when you put the wall covering onto the wall, now the paint is going to release the oxygen that it's taking from the glue. I'm sorry if this is too long and boring, but I want you to understand what the air bubbles are coming from and how to get rid of them. We're not going to get air bubbles from this now, but we will get air bubbles from this. How do you avoid it? Here's what I suggest you do. Take the glue and put a layer of glue on your wall while this is booking. The reason is that the glue and the paint that's dry on the wall can mix, and the paint can release the oxygen that it has in it, so that when you put it on the wall, your bubbles are minimum. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you. Thanks for watching. Please click on like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll show you what this looks like after we do it. This is a 54-inch Grasscloth, a very unusual product. And let's just say if I had to replace it, I would have to take out another mortgage on my house. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.